Okay, line 23A11, Newbold's translation, Andromeda O'Neill, Voynich Manuscript, Wow Seti. There's the alien radio signal there. And this talks about Newbold's translation, nebula, Andromeda spirals, locations, concave mirror, star, snail, navel, pegasus, girdle, head, cassiopea. 1931, Mrs. Voynich, photostat, copy, manuscript, Catholic University, Washington, I think it's Friar Theodore Petersen, hand transcription, card index, words, list, concordances, 1944. Hugh O'Neill, botanist, plants, New World species, American sunflower, red pepper, O'Neill, 1944, dating 1493. Columbus, first sunflower seeds, Europe, Cryptologists, W. Friedman, J. Tiltman, constructed language, Voynich Manuscript, Lingua Ignota, Hildegarde of Bingen, 1098 to 1179, and Petersen Marshall Foundation, keyword research, line 23, Wow Seti data. Okay, so January 9th, 2012, 2 years ago, because today is April the 12th, 2014, and I was working on this. So, for instance, Newbold's translation of the caption near the drawing of the nebula of Andromeda, which clearly shows its spiral characteristics, gave its location by the following. In a concave mirror, I saw a star in the form of a snail between the navel of Pegasus, the girdle of Andromeda, and the head of Cassiopea. And this is the drawing here. The attempts to crack the code, however, were not over. In 1931, Mrs. Voynich took a photostat copy of the manuscript to Catholic University in Washington, where Friar Theodore Petersen reproduced it photographically and started a complete hand transcription of the manuscript with a card index to the words and lists of concordances. The transcription alone was reported to have taken him 4 years. Unfortunately, it is not known what conclusion, if any, he reached. In 1944, Hugh O'Neill, a renowned botanist at the Catholic University, identified various plants depicted in the manuscript as New World species, in particular American sunflower and a red pepper, O'Neill, 1944. This meant that the dating of the manuscript should be placed after 1493, when Columbus brought the first sunflower seeds to Europe. However, the identification is not certain. The red pepper is colored green, and the sunflower identification is equally contested. Other people involved in the study of the manuscript were prominent cryptologists such as W. Friedman and J. Tiltman, who independently arrived at the hypothesis that the manuscript was written in an artificial constructed language. This was based on the structure of the words as described below. Such artificial languages were devised at least a century after the probable date of the Voynich manuscript. Only the Lingua Ignota of Hildegarde of Bingen, 1098 to 1179, predates the Voynich manuscript by several centuries. But this language does not exhibit the structure observed by Friedman and Tiltman, and it provides only nouns and a few adjectives. Friedman came to know Petersen, who at some time presented his hand transcription and other material to him. After Friedman's death, all the material was moved to W.F. Friedman Collection of the Marshall Foundation. Recently, electronic versions of the transcriptions made by Friedman's groups were produced from the typed sheets and made available on Internet, reads 1995. Later acclaimed solution C in the manuscript, a simple substitution cipher, which only can decode isolated words, Feely, 1943. The first use of a more or less sophisticated cipher, Strong, 1945, Brungbahn, 1977, a text and vowel list, Ukraine, Stokho, 1978, or the surviving document of the Cathar movement, Levatov, 1987. No acceptable plain text has ever been produced, though. Some interesting new insights into the manuscript were provided in the 70s by Prescott Currier, presenting some of his results at an informal Voynich Manuscript Symposium at the National Security Agency in Washington. Now, why would it be with a security agency? Isn't that just a little bit strange? There must be something in it that's unique, right? I'm just going to make a note of that. That's 23, 12. I'm just making a note of that so I can look that up, because I kind of missed it. The Imperial, 1978. Basing his findings on the statistical properties of the text, he showed that the manuscript is written in 2 distinct languages, which he simply called A and B. Each bifolio was written in one of the 2. And bifolio is in the same language. or generally grouped together. Only in the herbal section there is a mixture of A and B folios. Based on the characteristics of the writing, he showed that the manuscript seems to have been written in 2 distinct hands, and even suggested there could be as much as 5 or even 8 different hands. A significant feature is that the hand and language used on each folio are fully correlated. Curry's conclusion was that at least 2 people were involved in writing the Voynich Manuscript, which he considered a point against the hoax theory, summarized below, although alternatively the manuscript could have been written by one person in 2 distinct periods. Due to the lack of success in the decipherment, a number of people have proposed that the manuscript is a hoax. Manuscript could either be a 16th century forgery to be sold for a hefty sum to Emperor Rudolph II, who was interested in rare and unusual items from Brumbaugh in 1977, deriving from earlier unpublished theories, or a more recent one by W. Voynich himself, Barlow 1986. The latter is effectively excluded both by expert dating of the manuscript and by the evidence of its existence prior to 1887. One problem with the earlier hoax theory is that it will be shown certain word statistics, zip sloss, found in the manuscript are characteristic of natural languages. In other words, it is unlikely that any forgery from 16th century would by chance produce a text that follows zip sloss, first postulated in 1935. Since 1990, a multidisciplinary group of varying size, generally between 100 and 200 individuals, dispersed all around the globe and connected through the internet, has maintained an electronic mail forum on the decipherment of the Voynich Manuscript. This has led to a lively exchange of ideas and the definition of 2 main goals: a machine-readable transcription of the manuscript text and the study of the text through numerical experiments. The following sections related to these issues are the sources of Voynich Manuscript, deciphering the most mysterious manuscript in the world by Eldritch Dahmer. Rated link is past analysis and proposed solutions. And that's from www.world-mysteries.com. I just have to add, I wrote a children's story based on the Voynich Manuscript, and I came up with my own ideas of where it's from and who wrote it. And it'll be interesting if the book does get published. You guys will find it quite amazing with the ideas that came up with based on some of the research that I did. Okay, so February 8, 2014. Keywords here: Hubble telescope saw Kepler region with concave mirrors. Okay, so during this code breaking exercise, this design has come up several times, so it caught my attention right away. And then I could not believe what I was reading. The exact location where it said the Maya planet is. Okay, sorry. Keywords here with concave mirrors, and then, sorry, this should say my thoughts. I apologize. I don't even know when I'm reading my own stuff. So during this code breaking exercise, this design has come up several times, so it caught my attention right away. And then I could not believe what I was reading. The exact location of where I said the Maya planet is. Okay? At the start of this wild signal theory, I heard connect all the ones, and so I did, and got interesting patterns that look like alien DNA that has been discovered on Earth. So those are 2 things that I talk about in the very, very first videos, where when I connected all the ones in the wow signal, it matched perfectly with the alien DNA drawings, and that freaked me right out. Just so you know, okay? Various types of alien non-terrestrial proteins that all lead to the lost city of Atlantis, and how this message will need to be decoded by the looks of it. Data continues in the next video.